Welcome to two stations in one.
Originally built by the Metropolitan and District Railways.
Change here for the Piccadilly line.
All aboard, we're at South Kensington.
Young man, there's no need to feel down because we're back. Welcome with another episode of the Hidden London Hangouts. My name's Alex Grunden. Today we're at an amazing station, really cool actually, and we're here at a really interesting point in its evolution because work's being done and half of it's shut. So we're in really secret territory. Now, I don't do this on my own. I've got two people from the London Transport Museum, fabulous friends as well, to guide us through the place we're at and to have a laugh along the way as well. First of all, Chris Nix from the London Transport Museum. Quite the exploration, wasn't it? We were properly YMCA'd up with hard hats.
Oh, it's brilliant. I can't wait until we do something that's got a Navy theme. We're just going to keep that Village People vibe going. But no, South Kensington, lovely place. I've been there a few times before, but the perfect moment to go back with you guys.
And actually, a really interesting one, Laura Hilton Brown, gorgeous girl, because we were all together. Even Siddles was there as well, wasn't she?
We were, and I think we decided or discussed that it was the first time since before Christmas, I think, that all four of us have been, not on the Zoom record, because obviously that's a bit easier to engineer, but the first time we've all been on location together. So it was actually really lovely. Hence why we had a little bit of a giggle with the introduction. But I'm back to trying to match wearing something with the site visit that we've done. So you guys will get it because of the stripe of blue, but it all will be revealed shortly.
I love it. Absolutely love it. No City Holloway today. A big day for SIDS and the museum because the new series of Secrets of the London Underground is airing tonight, premiere edition. And so we're all off to a party tonight to celebrate it with her, but she's preparing for that. So let's, without further ado, crack on with this. South Kensington Station, not a station I knew massively. I know a lot better now. Perilous moments on this little tour, which we loved. Well, they loved. I was a little bit kind of, but we did it. And Chris Nix, first of all, a little potted history of this rather wondrous two stations in one. I love the fact there's a large cat in front of you.
Oh, wow.
Well, I've been joined by Nessa, who doesn't very often come and star in the show. She's normally a bit too shy. So let's see if we can do a potted history with Nessa the cat. So in 1868, the Metropolitan and District Railway opened the first station on the site at South Kensington. In 1903, they deliberated about adding a deep level district line to run as more of an express line, and they built a 120-foot section of 12-foot 6 tunnel in experiment for that, but didn't carry on and actually build the rest of the deep level district line. In 1906, the Great Northern Piccadilly and Brompton Railway brought the second station to site, now known as the Piccadilly line today. And in 1971 to 1974, the station was remodeled from the lifts of the Great Northern Piccadilly and Brompton Railway to escalators and the format of the station that we're familiar with today.
I love
As
it.
we join it, those escalators are due for refurb.
This is wonderful. I do apologise for jumping the gun there, but I'm so excited to show you this. Now, we've got a couple of pictures to show you first of all. So Chris, put your cat down, put Pussy down, and I need you to push some buttons. So first of all, 1868. We're going right back to the start, aren't we?
Absolutely. So we're going to start with what I think is a beautiful photo showing the small amount of carnage being created in the South Kensington area when the Metropolitan District Railway was being built in 1868.
Now, on that picture, are they bricks that surround the metal cast of the tunnels? Are they?
That's it. So it's cut and cover construction. So you dig up the road, you create a trench or a cutting. At the bottom of it, you have your track bed, and then it's arched over in brick. Now, you form that brick arch using an arch former, and that's what you can see, that sort of curved thing that may be steel, or it might actually be wood, is there as an arch former. So they're basically, as they built the bricks, they then move that forward to build the next section.
Nice. And the next picture is one that Laura's going to love because it's got a cart in it, and Laura loves a cart.
Well, it's a bus. It's a horse bus.
Even better. Yeah, Laura, what do you make of that?
I'm genuinely surprised you remembered that I like a horse. I mean, this is lovely, isn't it? And the picture before as well, isn't it insane? Not just the whole kind of engineering feat of how that actually happened and then turned into the tube tunnels, but that they were just all obviously walking along on the wood. The planks are just kind of laid very precariously in various positions. And they all had white shirts on as well. So I don't know how long that would have lasted. But this is a lovely shot. These are my absolute favourite. They just whip you straight back in time, don't they?
Totally. And the next one, you're going to love this one as well because it's the station. Go on, Chris.
I was going to say, I have realised, sorry, there is a cart just on the edge of the shot on the right-hand side there. But
there is. Alex, you were right.
Apologies,
yeah,
Alex.
I know I spotted it, and I started thinking to myself, I'm having delusions. Quite frankly, it's too much paracetamol. Quite clearly.
What I also love about this is you've always got these shots in this era of tobacconists, and because of course you're going to smoke while you're on the underground, aren't you? I suppose the trains were, because they were steam hauled, so you might as well.
Spotted it as well, absolutely. But the canopy of the station, and this is what, when we're looking through the photographs, this is the one that really stuck in my mind because it's beautiful.
Look at that.
I mean, lights, Law. We love our lights, don't we, our danglers?
Look how sharp the image is as well, like the figures in it. They kind of look like they've been superimposed in, but I love the gorgeousness of the train to the left and then the empty track giving you that sense of space between where the platform and the lamp is to die for, right? Alex, that would totally be in our houses, right?
Oh God, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're beautiful. And it's really funny because when you look at the little detail, like the size of his top hat, you know, and you think this guy, you know, the guy by the siding just there, by the bay platform.
The top hat and cane, it's so smart, isn't it?
And you just think, God, the state I look like when I travel on the tube now. And these people are so smart, you know?
Well, I don't know about you, but I kind of fancy a little bit of a zoom in on this. It's so lush.
And what's really interesting about this photograph is that there is that siding platform, that bay platform. Now, presumably that's not there now. Is that now where you go down the escalators for the Piccadilly line?
That's right. They're in between platforms 2 and 3. So that what you now use today on the District and Circle line, there used to be this bay platform. And that's basically where the escalators now, or the staircase rather, down to the escalators to the Piccadilly line are on the modern day station. But yeah, the weighing machine there, you've got, I bet there are chocolate machines somewhere in the background.
Probably in fag machines. So the next one is the one that I really love though, Chris. The next photograph is the Leslie Green masterpiece. And I'm staggered, but I mean, look at it. Look, Law, look at it.
It's so beautiful.
This is taken about 1910. It's very early petrol vehicles are around then. But we've still got horse buses, which were replaced pretty rapidly by petrol buses once the B-type bus came along.
What do you make of this though, Law? Because you've got like all those little portal windows that are so ornately tiled, so typically Leslie Green, isn't it?
It's just an era of so much detail, isn't it? It's just a design loveliness. Like if you could go back to an era, would this be on your top 5 or top 3 eras to go back to?
It's very interesting. I was having a conversation over a glass of wine last night with a friend of mine who is also, hello Robin, by the way, I know you're a massive fan of the Hangouts, and he was saying that he really loves history, but sometimes he quite likes the modern history. For instance, on the Hidden London tours that London Transport Museum runs, I'm probably more of a fan of Charing Cross than I would be of Down Street. Now that makes me a bit of a Philistine probably, but I do look at this, I marvel at the look of it, but what I really love is the fact that it's all still there. Even that typeface, that amazing South Kensington station typeface is all still there. That's the bit I love.
Yeah, you had a little bit of a swoon over the typeface yesterday, didn't you? Which was actually really lovely. I loved that you were getting involved with it. So you'd prefer Charing Cross because it's more contemporary? Yeah. Is that where you're? Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
But I love the fact that that's all still there. I mean, Leslie Green, one of the most, the foremost architects of the Tube. I love the fact London is absolutely covered in his work. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
It's nice to see that that facade surviving in quite such original condition, isn't it? And inside, of course, now no longer there, but this is what the station used to look like. Sea of advertising on the right-hand side.
Wow.
Yeah, and stairs down to the emergency spiral staircase directly in front of you there.
No, I don't know whether
Because
either
we
of you
serve by
noticed.
lifts.
I don't know whether either of you noticed this, but when we were in the station, and this isn't on the film you're about to see, by the way, guys, but we were actually stood in that area when we were about to go down to the platforms, which we will see in a second. Because I was looking at the doors, and we were inside that Leslie Green building when we were doing our manoeuvres around the station. And you think, God, that's changed so much.
Yeah.
You know, fascinating.
So, importantly, originally a station served by lifts, but
Yeah.
now replaced by escalators, as we will see in our film very shortly.
Now, interestingly, before we start on this film, and we only have a couple more seconds to chat about this, you'll see that the route down, because the escalators are not working, is a rather challenging one for a little softie like me. But I'm very, very glad. I'm very, very glad that my chums were all here to hold me hand. So, but without further ado, let's get on with our tour of South Ken and all of the wonderful delights. And the thing to bear in mind, as I say, as you're watching this is a station of two halves. The District Line station is open still, but the Piccadilly Line bit at the point we filmed was closed for rebuilding work and to have the escalators done. Take a look at this. I love a reveal, and I have to say this is possibly the best location to get a revelation. Look at this, as the train departs.
Your timing was almost perfect.
Almost.
It's coming up. It's coming up. It's coming
It's
up.
there.
Hey! So there's our first bit of disused, which you can see anytime you use the Districts and Circle line.
Yep.
So this was a platform, the other side was a platform at one time, and then it got taken away. Why? Just didn't need it? Or?
Yeah, they simplified the services essentially because, of course, this used to be the Metropolitan District, then it became the District, then it's the Circle and all of that. So they used to have more services running to different kind of parts of the complex District Line network.
I love this, and I love the flowers and the plants.
Flowers are
Beautiful, isn't it?
lovely.
I mean, if you look at that, you don't think of the underground being a green space when you're on the platform, do you? But there's lots of it. And if you look beyond it, there's some unintentional green space over on the other end of the other disused platform. And you can see there's some of the supporting columns still on that side.
It's glorious.
The wrought iron's really lovely on that
I
side.
love the fact you're wielding your camera with proper menaces there. And this is this architecture is very reminiscent of the District Railway.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So just got to think, canopy over the top. All looks rather nice, doesn't
Fab.
it?
Where are we off to next?
Well, of course, there are lower level platforms here for the Piccadilly Line. But
Are there going to be tiles for Laura?
I'm struggling in the sunlight.
Yeah.
as well. I'm like, I need my
No.
shade.
There are some tiles.
Open your eyes, we've got tiles to come. It's going to be great.
Excited.
Here we go.
Yeah, let's.
So we're in this lovely ocean corridor backstage at South Ken. We're obviously wearing quite a lot of material that we don't normally wear for look around a station, and that says mind the step. Should I be worried about the size of the step?
It's a bit of an understatement. Sidney and I have been here before because we've taken our patrons round here a couple of years ago, but I think you're going to like what's in here.
Yeah, well, of
like.
course.
Yeah.
Well, of course, they're refurbishing the escalators here, so
So there
to
needs to be
get
another
down.
one down. Right.
It's the only route down.
Using a helmet.
There's
So
some
you
height,
need-
but we've got Alex. It's
We've
all
got
good.
it. He's trained now.
Anywhere that you need a high vite, a hard hat, and a powerful torch, it's got to be good fun, right?
Hang on a minute though. Wait, guys. This is probably a good moment to reveal the little gifts that I bought for you.
Hard hat.
That's mine.
YMCA. There's a theme here, isn't there?
She's going to pull out a headdress.
Ooh,
No,
London
you.
Transport
Oh, my
Museum.
For you. You just have to pull the little
wow.
paper out to activate the.
Oh,
Yeah.
heavens.
See,
That's
there you go.
Right then,
To
well, we're
activate the
ready.
lights.
Let's go.
Okay.
Wee, wee, wee.
It's still great.
Yeah, it is. Come on.
This doesn't look finished. This
Well-
has got like,
It is.
oh my goodness.
Just maybe don't look down.
Oh, you're having a laugh. You're having a laugh. Oh my goodness. Is that
So,
the stairs
dear
like
viewer,
that?
let's see what Alex
Yeah.
has just seen.
We got
Hold
to go
on to
down
your
there.
boots. Look at that puppy.
Oh dear God.
To make it go like wibbly wobbly.
So these, the steps we're going to take, are they like that?
Yeah.
All the way to, oh, thank goodness for that. I
Yeah.
thought I had imagined a ladder.
Oh no. We wouldn't make you climb down
He
a
would.
ladder.
He would. He's done it. Right, okay, let's do this then.
This is quite deep, eh?
So
this
as you can
was-
see, this is now ventilation point 41. However,
Yeah.
before that, it was a lift shaft.
So the lifts down to the platforms actually went down this shaft.
Yep.
And now we're
Yeah.
going to do it without the use of a lift.
You thought we were going down something like this, right?
I did, and that's what freaks me out a little
of a
bit. But you
ladder.
know what?
No.
I've come to the conclusion that my lovely crew will always look after me, and that's all marvellous.
Okay.
This
I'm
is-
so glad I booked a really important meeting straight after this, wearing nice clothes.
This is a sprung gate,
I
so
can sit. Oh, hello.
If I let it go, it will
Will you
spring.
ever learn?
Been doing this for 2 years now, Alex.
I
you
know,
should
baby. I know, but you know, it's
Oh,
tough
look at
diaries.
this pigeon friend of ours there.
Have we
You got a little
birds in
pigeon? Oh, yeah. Oh, it's very sweet.
Look at that. Oh, lovely. Oh, and the floor wobbles. The floor wobbles. Oh my goodness. Right, okay. I don't actually, I know this is a very weird way to do this, but I don't actually look down. I just
I'd
sort
say
of,
that's a
We're
good thing.
very
I acknowledge
well,
it's there, but I don't look down.
very well covered by scaffolds.
You'd think, wouldn't you, after 2 years
yeah,
of
they
doing
are a
this,
li-
that I
they
might
are a
have
little
become a
bit
bit
flexible,
immune to it,
these,
but
if we're
it
honest.
really doesn't change. The slight fear,
You're doing very well.
well, you know, it's called styling it out for telly.
Talking through it. Oh, there was a
You see,
cobweb.
I think we've come at the perfect moment to see this. If
Yeah.
you'd have come any other time, you would have just got the escalators and it wouldn't have been half as much fun.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's a perfect time. Right, I'm still not looking down. How far down is it not?
We're all right.
Just say in one word, how far down?
Halfway.
I'm just saying, I'm also holding a camera. It's so
Good.
silly.
Oh, but you're really butch and
Yeah.
manly, Nick, so I'm a bit
Holding
more
this camera is
look
actually
at my
very
hands.
difficult.
You're all right. At the dark.
Oh.
Dirty. Sorry.
Look at that,
Blowing
amazing.
my nose.
Good work, Sids. Let's just have a look at what we've come down.
That's
Fabulous. That's the word you're looking for.
fabulously high.
Look
isn't
at
it?
that.
Oh my goodness. Do you know, it's a good job
Well
we
done,
don't
Sid.
have pulse monitors on us.
Oh
Because I
no,
really was like...
I'm dirty.
Oh, so here we go. Let's start off with a nice bit of poster action.
Oh, it's gorgeous,
So
isn't it?
the escalators were fitted in the 1970s, I believe, or 1960s. So
I want to
there are some posters
move
here
this
from the
board.
19
Now, you see, I'm used to having explored this with you, Siddy,
Yeah.
but normally we would come in off that door from the platform. Whereas today,
Of course it's open. I'm thinking, that's not
Well,
right. But of course it's
because
shut, isn't it? The station's shut down
it's
here.
not in service, so all we're going to see is the odd train going through
So
at
glad
5
you
miles
did
an hour.
that. Because I was thinking that shouldn't be open.
Sunday at 4:15
Oh.
daily. Christmas films that will
Tell you
delight
what,
the
let's use
whole
this one.
family.
Isn't that lovely? See, this is the joy of all. What's that, by the way?
Okay, one at
Right.
a time. Let's do your posters first.
Look at that.
Nice.
That's lovely.
You can still
And
see
then this.
Show, fun show.
shop.
Is this a poster, do you think? There's a remnant
I
of a
think so.
poster. It's exciting.
Nuggets of joy.
I know.
Do you know, it's so weird not having people on the platform.
Do you know, it's really
Yeah.
lovely as well, because I don't know whether you've seen, but on the platforms, they've taken away the bit where the station name is on the roundels and it says platform closed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I really
It's got
love all that
5 mile an hour
detail.
speed limit
Yeah,
on.
and that weird door thing that's always open when the station's shut.
Yeah.
One of my favourite bits of the station is that,
Yeah.
with the backs of the tiles, with the keystoning. Obviously herringbone, but not all of it. See some of it.
Mixed it up.
Yeah, they're mixing it up.
Mixed it up.
And we were saying earlier, weren't we, about the colours? There are beautiful
Yes.
colours of the blue, but then there's also this other blue, stunning dark blue,
Yeah.
like a bluey
But
grey.
look at that lovely combo of the
Yeah.
dark blue and the paler blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really
It's all
stunning.
going on. I mean, it's a little bit kind of covered up there, but on that side it's really nice and clear.
Look, it won't stop. It won't stop. It'll just keep going. It's fabulous, absolutely fabulous. So we've got the tiles, we've got the blue, the dark blue, and the cream. That's your colour scheme in this particular Leslie Green station for the pick.
That's right. And
Yeah.
we came down ventilation shaft, remember?
41.
41, anybody? Very good.
Yep.
And the one next
Here's
to it
another
is
one.
ventilation point
42.
42.
There you go.
And this one has got a fan in the bottom of it. So if we just come over here, you can actually see it because the light's all on.
So this would have been a lift doorway.
Originally,
Effectively,
yeah.
this would have been where the lift. So 4 lifts here,
Yep.
maybe. And we can still see all the lovely tiles. I can't see anything with a maker's mark, but there might be.
No, but in there,
Probably covered over.
Would you like me to use my special gift torch? And of course, under normal circumstances, when the station is open, this is all dark, presumably. So you wouldn't really see much of this.
And quite noisy, because that'll be running, there's a lot of air rushing through here. So yeah, you can see there's a motor driving the big fan impeller that's inside that thing, and then firing that up the lift shaft.
It's funny, it's one of our words, isn't it? Impeller. Before I started doing the Hangouts, never knew the word impeller.
It's the working gubbins inside
blurry
the pump.
bit of the
That's
fan.
right.
Yeah.
It's the
Gubbins, that's
gubbins.
a good word
Gubbins.
too.
the veins inside it.
I love it.
So what do we think of the tiles?
I
Gorgeous.
think that might possibly be a favourite for me. I love that kind of royal blue.
I love
midnight
blue.
combo.
And the fact we've got two types
Yeah.
of blue. And actually, the thing I love about this is it's not like, dare I say, Dover Street or Green Park
It's
blue.
not.
I don't like
It's
that
really
colour.
not.
But these blues I really love. The dark and the slightly bit. I know it's sacrilege. I'm sorry, but I just prefer these.
No, I wasn't drawing breath because I'm disagreeing with you. I very much agree. But I
Oh,
bought
Jen, we need that for our hands as well.
This is really good.
You know what?
Thank you again, Jen. It's the gift that keeps giving.
Yeah, it really is. You know,
does.
something that I noticed actually going out onto the platform is that the platform's been retiled, but not entirely. It still has the Leslie Green bands going through it and some of the tiles. So let's have a look at that when I get on.
That royal blue is.
I love it.
just
That's
gorgeous.
royal.
Yeah,
Look at the
that's
blue.
beautiful.
Can you get this?
Yeah.
It looked
Oh.
darker underneath
Alex,
the dust.
I want to clean
Have
too.
a go. Have a go. This
All
is
cleaning.
This is so cool.
The station hasn't been cleaned like this in a long time.
Quite some time.
That is
that
absolutely,
is lovely.
that is the blue. It's cobalt,
That is
isn't
tasty.
it? It's like a cobalt blue. It's
well-
absolutely gorgeous.
Dear viewer, this is for you back in the studio. Let's have that moment.
That is so cool.
So,
So lovely.
do you fancy having a look at a few more posters and heading out onto the
Yes,
platform?
and
Yes.
we have to
Absolutely.
show the platform
we
out of
do.
service because it's just brilliant.
I'll just get Sidney's handiwork and we'll head off. That's nice. I like it with the herringboat. Right then, shall we? A few more posters.
Let's do it. Sorry, I'm being a tourist.
Do you know what's so lovely about this space? Is it's only very, very small, but there's something kind of around each corner or on each wall. And we've spoken about the tiles, but look at the posters as well.
And I love the, sorry Chris, I was just saying, that the fact that this is Pitman's, there's two types of shorthand in journalism. There's Pitman's and there's T-line. And Pitman's was obviously a journalism or writing secretarial college that was in London. And these are from the 60s, you reckon?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, my mum trained on Pitman.
Did she?
Yeah, she retrained as a secretary, yeah. And you're right, Laura, there's so much packed into this space. It's why, I mean, we've been here a few times and it's,
it really is.
that's partly why there's a lot going on here in a small space.
You guys are like the early explorers, and then you bring Alex and I down to these spaces afterwards. But
And laugh at us.
they
as we're walking
do. We're
down
all.
this shaft.
Don't you?
You do.
The posters, they date this really lovely little passageway, this time capsule. People would have commuted through here and seen these in such a glorious state. They're not even that bad now, to be fair.
And I love we were talking about the
colour,
boldness of the colour.
Yeah.
On posters down here, they use bolder colours because they knew they wouldn't fade over the
That's
front.
right,
didn't they?
red is unusual on transport posters, but on the underground it's fairly common. Now, I think that train's beckoning us out.
Yeah, let's
Should
go.
we go and have a look at the platform?
Got to do it.
We're all
Never gets
desperate
to
When
to
else
out
do we
there,
get the
aren't we?
opportunity to
Well,
go to a
loads-
platform?
When else would it be technically disused?
Of course, yeah. Beautifully put.
So, as we can see, platform closed.
Do you know, this bit gets me more excited than many of the other places that we go to because, as you just said so brilliantly, only temporarily is this a disused station.
Yeah.
And it's South Ken, for goodness sake. And I love the fact that I've gone through so many old, stations when they're shut, and they have this weird door thing that swings open to say station closed and the speed limit. And then occasionally you might go to a station which is having work done, and they take the name of the station away and put platform closed.
I feel like I want to light it up.
It's so good with your special gift.
Sorry, did I get you in the...
No, it's all right. It's not as
In
bad
the
as if I
retina.
get you with that one.
There's something very eerie about this, isn't it? Also, some of the lights are clearly being refitted.
They've dimmed the
so-
cabin lights for
Yeah,
landing,
it's
haven't they?
every
And
Nice.
also, do you notice that that's reflective? Yeah. On the station closed.
Yeah. It's so cool.
You know what this has given me sort of, I don't know, like,
City's getting some vibes. She's getting some vibes.
Does this
I don't know,
remind
it's
you
like a
of
kind of weird sort of
Creep?
horror movie
Isn't it
vibe.
a
Yeah.
good time to mention that when they tunnelled the Piccadilly line, they went through a burial ground
Oh,
when
yeah,
they
I
went
knew
that
that.
way?
Oh,
Is that what
actually,
it
you
is?
were going to say
That is
something
a
like
good,
that.
good fact. So many people ask me that. Why does the Piccadilly line curve so crazily as it goes through South Kensington? And it's,
one moment, a moment of silence. We are literally in a silent part of the tube. It's 2:30 in the afternoon, and it
now-
is silent down
And
here.
now tell me, City, why did it do the turn on the Piccadilly line? You were about to say.
Oh, I mean, a lot of people think it's because of the burial ground, but it's not. It's because it's following the road above.
Yeah, fabulous. This was due to what they called way leave,
That's right, yeah.
and just in a nutshell, for anyone who's not watched other episodes, tell us what way leave is.
Basically, you were allowed to tunnel underneath roads without having to buy the land rights above.
Right.
Whereas if you went underneath buildings, you'd have to buy the freehold of the land usually to be able to tunnel underneath it.
Because effectively, the freehold went all the way to hell.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The tiling on the floor is quite unusual as well, isn't it? I don't know if I've seen this.
Yeah, this kind of
Sort of
terrazzo.
mosaic-y and stuff.
Yeah.
See, this is a posh part of London, isn't it? So you can see in the tiles that there's some class about it. And
There's some class.
I do like that. I like
Well,
this
there are
station.
33 million passengers that go through the station every year. It is the 20th busiest on the network.
You're so cool.
Great fact.
You're
Quiz
so
question.
Should we go and do some more exploring?
Cool. Yeah, that one.
Absolutely.
Platform closed. I love it.
Okay, well, this is the other door of interest.
I'm so excited for you guys to see this.
You know, when we look at archive photographs of tube station platforms in the 1980s, it feels like the light is about as dim as this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What?
I know, crazy door, right? We've not seen one of these before.
If this was a bookshelf,
One sec.
It's like it
Well-
should be on a spy movie. This is
mean-
our secret escape.
Check this out.
Oh,
I almost don't want to
going
put the lights on.
there's a bit of Fagnolia on the roof. It's so
Right.
dusty, dear viewer. When you flick the switch,
oh my
dust came off.
goodness, look.
Look at the
It's
joyous
like a
face on
wing
Laura.
clean.
Like chocolate factory kind of colours.
See, this is the whole thing about the vividness of the colours down here, isn't it? They just don't fade because it's dark.
This is blowing my
Does that come off?
mind.
Does that dirt come off that?
Alex
That's
is
the paint.
determined.
Oh, it
to
does
wash-
though.
Oh my God.
It's
He's
much cleaner.
washing the whole station, everyone.
So where is it? We went recently without Alex, Oval, and we were at the top, and we said, should we take the wet wipes down? And we went, no, Alex isn't
No,
here.
Alex isn't here.
And then
You're
we
gonna
got
do it.
down and we really regretted it.
Now, look at this. I mean, here you've got this beautiful moulding, and I wasn't lost for the word then, moulding around the door. There with those sort of slim cartouche panels either side.
It's architrave, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the other side of the lift shaft.
That's
isn't it?
right.
So we walked out
Yeah.
of one side, walked around. This is the
You
sort of
can
maybe the
see
entry
through
to
there,
the actually. Yeah, if you
So
bring the
we
camera.
were just there, and that's where we came down. That staircase we walked down. Is it just over there?
Yeah. So we've got that. That's so cool.
Oh,
and weirdly, no maker's tile that I can see
No, they're all covered in posters.
covered in posters. Because there would have been a maker's tile, wouldn't there, to say the company that made the tiles. And
That's right.
It was
Typically,
W. Simpson
typically
and Sons.
you would find the maker's tile around the lift shaft areas.
Yeah.
But not here.
no. But even so, what an amazing.
Alex, was it
sight.
you before that said you were getting a real sense of Euston from here as
I
well?
was. I mean, partly it's the colours.
No, I'm just.
But
I
also
totally
it's
agree
this
though.
kind of these pops of
It's the
vivid colour
fragments, isn't it? Yeah.
in fragmented form. I said, what's that there? What is that frame for? Is there a sign? Was there a sign?
Could have been a sign.
It's wooden, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sorry, Sid.
It's all right.
Do you want a cloth? Do you want to see if you can wipe a bit of muck off it?
It looks about the right proportions for a sign, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And now you've got this brick modification at the back, which is all about guiding that airflow
Yeah.
to the fan. See that fan that we looked at before?
I have to say,
This is awesome.
this is truly
I mean,
a telegenic site.
It's not
And
that
also-
dirty.
Guys,
Did you get anything off
and
it?
then one other thing I was going to point to, see, look, because the Piccadilly line here is actually on 2 levels. So we're on the upper level, but just down there, that's the westbound, just below us.
And this
You
would have
can
been
see
done
it
because
there.
the road above is quite narrow and they couldn't have put the platform side by side. Is that generally right? Because of this way leave thing?
I think the reason here was a separate one because they'd already done some tunnelling for the Express District line.
Deep level district line.
Yeah. But we'll have to answer that back in the studio.
Yes. But I love this.
We could answer it on the platform below, in fact. Maybe we should head down there to finish that off.
We're going deeper?
Yeah, we're going
down.
deeper underground, as Jamiroquai would say.
Oh, there's your tune for Insta.
Look at that.
This
So
is
great,
nifty.
hit quiet, isn't it?
It's Charing Cross.
Yes.
It's a bit
Basically.
like Charing Cross.
It totally is.
What are they doing at the moment here? They're just replacing these escalators.
So much cooler as well.
That-
Yes, they are.
Gibbs. These are new. These are new.
These are brand new.
The weird thing about these tiles, right, this was the 60s upgrade, wasn't it? Because
Yes.
this reminds me of old bathrooms.
Right, yes. Now you have maybe with a nice avocado bath suite.
Yeah.
Or mint.
Well, let's go down to the platform.
Any more Icelandic? We're all in trouble. No entry, but I would like to go through that door, but what is
Of course,
it?
we always want to go into the bit that says no entry.
Yeah.
Let's go into this one. No one's allowed to see what you're going to do, so we're going to look through the grill while you do the code.
I love this. I've got the code for this. Sorry, too excited, Alex.
Now,
Sorry.
before you go through there, Alex,
Yes.
we have to talk about something,
I've got the code. Yes.
which is that deep level district line. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So, deep level district line was built as a bit of an experiment. They intended to splurge an awful lot of money back in the day, about £1 million to build.
Which in 1903 is
a lot of wonga.
God of money. But they only ever built one bit of it.
And this was it?
Yeah,
What?
120 foot bit
This
of it,
bit?
level with the westbound Piccadilly. And so it got reused.
So had-
turned into passageways.
Had plans gone ahead, we'd have had an express Northern line and an express district line in London.
Yep.
This is madness, and this is now a walkway through a door which I'm fighting with at the moment. I don't think you're noticing this. This
The
doorway
backpack is
wants to
handy.
shut, and I'm not letting it. But
So should we head through?
see, it's that orange tiles again. Lovely bathroom in the 60s.
Note the louvers for ventilation to your right.
Louvres.
Just see through.
That's the bottom of the lift
like a
shaft
half,
we
isn't
were in,
it?
kiddos.
Well, it's all that
good.
hot air,
Quite
right?
so delicate.
And here we are again. See, it's murky. It's so murky down here. I'm completely taken, I know you guys are as well, by the atmosphere that an open but closed station creates. It is so different to the really disused ones like Down Street or even Charing Cross. There's something, what's missing is people, but what's coming in place is a mood.
Yeah.
Does that seem a bit sort of ethereal?
I know what you mean. We've been visiting so many stations which are finished but not yet open, like on the Elizabeth line.
And by the way, hear that screech? That's that curve.
And here we are at the other end of it. It's one that's been open for a long time and it's just closed for short refurbishment. Wave to the driver.
They like to have a toot and a wave.
It's just the best, isn't it? Because the camaraderie within TfL is just second to none. Everyone's just a big family.
And there we go.
That's Dave.
That's good.
It's not really Dave. I love that. We know all the drivers by name. I really love it. And what's fascinating is watching the faces of people on the tube trains who are thinking, what are you
No
doing
idea
on
what
there?
we're doing.
How did you get there?
Why are you using the station but we can't?
Yeah.
But I think that's what Cindy was trying to explain before, when we were at how there's an eerie feeling about it and it feels like you're on a film set. It's kind of quite hard for us to, I think, articulate how it feels down here.
Yeah.
But it is kind of that mix, that juxtaposition of two, of the open and closed. It's quite unusual.
There was a lovely moment as well, wasn't there, where we were just getting ready to film the next bit and Cindy said, places please! It was just like we were on a set. It was
I
great.
think we found the perfect moment to come and visit for you. And I think with that, we should probably leave the station to sleep, shouldn't we?
Yes.
For a little while.
It does feel like
For a
it's
little while.
sleeping, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm not going to do any more dusting. You see, I look at that station, and because, as you said in that film, Chris, it is effectively a temporary disused station. There was something so atmospheric about being there. And I know, Laura, you're such a feelings person. You felt it too, didn't you, on those platforms?
I think we all had we all had a bit of a moment, didn't we? Because it was very much that kind of dichotomy of old and new, and that we were in both of those sections, and you're so close to the people travelling on the district line, and then we just kind of snuck behind that hidden door, and there we were in the part that's being refurbished. And Chris kept saying, this is such a good time to be here. And I don't think I understood that at the beginning before we went down there. And then I had that penny drop moment where I was like, now I know what Nixie keeps going on about. This is an amazing time to be here. And I think we all had like a little bit of are we in a film set? Are we in kind of like a little bit of a time warp thing going on here? Because we couldn't quite put our finger on why it felt so special. And I think it is that old and new and that combination of it. Maybe I'm not making sense, but I think you know what I mean, right?
Totally. And what's really interesting as well is in that film, we go from 1906 to 2022, literally in the blink of an eye, from the tiles on the wall that were put there by, the workers for Leslie Green, right up to the point where we see a current tube train running through that closed station. We've literally spanned the decades at fast forward. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. And Chris, this was your suggestion to go there right now. Brilliantly timely with the fact that half the station was shut.
Well, I mean, this is a station which I've known for a long time. I've been there a number of times. As I said, we've taken our patrons there and they thoroughly enjoyed it. It features in the Hidden London book because it has those beautiful tiles and the backs of them having left their mark there. So I like the station a great deal. Going now made it so much more special. We got to do things that we don't normally do. So we've never walked down scaffolding in an original lift shaft. It's properly deep, isn't it? We've never had that moment of being on the platform when nobody else is there and the trains are coming through. So there was a lot of good things there that just took something that would have been a good visit and made it quite extraordinary. And I can't help but love a bit of exploration.
I have to say that whole experience, right now, I really mean this, is something very special about the four of us as friends, because there are moments which do freak me out. I don't like heights. And yesterday I walked down that staircase behind Laura as we descended the station the only way we could, down scaffolding through a lift shaft. I mean, it's utterly crazy, but brilliant. And I have to say, one thing that perhaps doesn't convey very well is just how dirty these areas are. Because when we were cleaning the tiles, and you can see I get quite excited about cleaning tiles, the problem is it's the dirt under your nails. And I mean, I'm looking, I've washed my hands probably about 15 times with a scrubbing brush to get the muck out from under my nut. It gets everywhere, doesn't it, Laura?
It does. And what's really good when we go down with you as well is that you the first thing you want to do is really get to that colour underneath all of that kind of dust and grime. And you're just not afraid to just get on in there and find out what the colour is. And what was really cool is that both you and Siddy had this could be my favourite tile combo moment, which is a big deal, right? Well, it's a big deal for me anyway, because I don't think we've seen that mixture of blue. I tried to find it because it's kind of a little bit similar to the blue on here, like that royal blue. But we thought it was like a midnight blue. But when you cleaned it, is it more like your shirt today, maybe, Alex?
I was about to say, you know why he likes it? It's because it matches his shirt.
This is the shirt that Nixie bought me for an event at the London Transport Museum one day. And he said, oh, just buy it. I'll buy you a shirt. But, the thing I really love about this, I think it's the colours of Stroud.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
without a doubt,
yep.
Because I love this particular moquette. It's beautiful. But I also think it's the multiples of blue. And we don't often get that sort of, the colour schemes are funny on the tube tiles, aren't they? You don't normally get multiples of colours. And the blue is a funny one, isn't it? Because sometimes you get really good shades and sometimes you get really grim ones, to be honest.
And getting the two blues together, normally blue on blue is code for a bad thing in warfare, but on tiles it's great.
Yeah. And you like, and the other
I was like denim and denim, no.
Yeah, no double denims. But really interesting, the other thing I was going to say, Laura, was what we've always said about posters as well down on the tube, because in the 60s, they were using far more vivid colours on posters because, well, they were able to, because it didn't fade in the light. And we saw that with the posters, didn't we, down there?
We absolutely did. And do you know what? If I had like a genie in the lamp moment and I could be granted 3 wishes on a site visit, I'd go tiles, I'd go posters, and I'd go how it makes me feel. And to be honest, I got all 3 wishes yesterday.
It's so good. You know, the one thing I forgot to do, and I was absolutely adamant, as soon as I walked onto the platform, I wanted to show you how those station closed signs work. Because if we go through the stations, when they're shut or whatever, we see them, but we never even work out. These are the reverse side of a map, aren't they, generally, Nixie?
They are, yes. And can you imagine, though, if you'd have like gone to demonstrate it, snapped it shut, realised you didn't have the release tool, and then all the drivers are getting into trouble because they're speeding through because you can't open it up again.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. But that is, as I say, the fact that we were there at a point where it was temporarily closed gave us an option to see so much more of the tube system as we see it today, with so many vestiges of the past. It was lovely. It was really, really lovely. And of course, we then got to see the brand new escalators before anybody's stepped on them. Utterly brilliant, utterly brilliant.
Yeah, I noticed that 5 minutes after we'd been there, the guys came back from their break who'd been working on it. So it's for the best they didn't find you marauding up them.
Yeah.
Glad I stopped you.
I love the fact that Law was suitably, follow my lead as you tried.
I was like, if Alex is going up, I'm going up. Chris will probably tell me off more than he tells Alex.
Yeah, it's so good.
Blame each other, and I'd be the one who'd get into trouble because I'm supposedly in charge of it.
I was totally hiding behind you.
Now, if you enjoyed those tiles, perhaps we should have a look at some tiles which are long gone because they were in a different part of the station. So let's have a look at, remember earlier I mentioned the deep level district line that they built a part of. Well, that 120-foot tunnel survived for quite a while until the escalators were rebuilt and the escalators were built and went through it. And in the 20s, it was used by the signal engineers as a signalling school. Must have been very grim, windowless place, but was in a tunnel, so handy for them to practice on. But here we can see it during the war. This is 1939, when the Permanent Way team have taken it over for their headquarters. And do you know which part of our collection spent the war years in these tunnels?
Your collection or the museum's collection?
Yep.
Do you know? I don't know. Actually, don't know.
Almost all of our drawings.
Oh,
So
wow.
those big drawings that we look at sometimes on these Hangouts, a lot of them have got South Kensington chief engineers stamped on them, and it's because they were
Fabulous.
Well, I never.
You mentioned Permanent Way. Just for anyone who doesn't know, could you just explain what Permanent Way teams are?
Yeah, so Permanent Way teams are the people who manage and maintain the track environment on the underground, or indeed, if it's Permanent Way for another railway, for any railway. And so, yeah, if you hear us say Permanent Way or P-Way for short, it's the engineers who look after the track environment.
Lovely. Let's go up to the ground and look at the platform that's no longer in use on the district line. Look at that. You see, do you remember, Law? That was where we were looking at with all the archways. This is, I mean, I find this staggering. And
yeah, just the canopy. It just takes you back to that moment in time, doesn't it? It's so intricate and lovely. I really like that kind of vintagey feel, and that it still exists as well around those archways.
Totally. 2 questions, Chris. First of all, is that wooden planks as the platform?
Oh yes, you beat me to it. I was just zooming in to show that. Yes.
Yeah. And the other question was, in the collections of all the trains that are at the London Transport Museum, I've never noticed one of those trains. Were they just all scrapped?
Yeah, so this is Metropolitan 1921 stock that was replaced by sets of O and P stock. So yeah, it's properly old, that.
And so few, if any, left, I'd imagine, rotting in fields and so on. That's all you're going to get. Let's have a look at the joys of horticulture on the London Underground as well, because this is, it's a station that's so pretty, and they clearly took a pride in their gardening.
Well, yeah, we saw on the film, it still survives quite well, both the intentional stuff and the bud layer growing across the tracks. Yeah, this was a photo taken for the Underground Station garden competitions, which were a really big thing. We've got quite a lot in the collection about those competitions. This one's from 1927. I've got to say, the advert in the background is slightly curious.
Yeah, I noticed that. Keeping kills, Law. What's the whole deal with that, Law? That looks incredible.
Does the whole kind of that lovely program Underground in Bloom, does that competition still exist within TfL?
It does, yeah, absolutely it does. They're
fantastic. So it's a competition that they run across the stations, where obviously each station is judged on their blooms. And I know you'll like this one. Kentish Town run one quite a few years ago, 2014 or 15, something like that. But I remember it because they had these really lovely, like window boxes. That's probably the wrong word. Sorry, but lots of different kind of tubs, and it looked gorgeous. You may have even seen it, Alex. It was your fave station.
I did. It's one of my fave stations, and I remember the planters all in there. It does feel a bit like you come into a garden centre when they do it, but it is lovely. And what I think is really nice is that when when you're on the surface, and these districts and Circle Line stations generally are, where you can have a bit of greenery, it really adds to almost the rurality of the city. It's a bit of a weird contradiction of being in a garden in the middle of the city.
Yeah, it's nice to see that pride taken in the stations by the staff as well. I don't know if they still call it Stations in Bloom. I've got a feeling they might have changed it, because I think they stopped doing it for a little while and then brought it back. But just looking at this photo, I like to think that those daisies that you can see, their descendants are the ones that are still there today, with all those butterflies hovering around them.
So nice. It's so pretty. And Law, we've got a few little posters for you to feast at, because we know you love your posters. So Chris, show us the first one, and then Law can just basically eat it.
This is a handbill. So a small advertising leaflet. They call them handbills. And it's advertising poster exhibition in the subway, which runs from the station to the big national museums on Exhibition Road.
It's very straightforward, Law, but we go through phases, don't we, with posters through the years. There is a lot of writing on them, and then you go through the phase of it's all about the picture, and then you go to the mixture of the hybrid. I
really like the colour combination in this one. I think it's really pleasant on the eye with the pink and the kind of green. I also like the kind of slightly quirky take on the roundel, where they've kind of missed the edge bar of the middle section. I actually quite like that.
Yeah,
it's from 1951. That roundel's a very old bullseye, as they would have called it then. It's a very 1950s style. You see that on a lot of things then. The poster, which I think you're going to love, though, is a much more modern one. And I think it was you, Laura, asked on the film about the flooring that we were looking at.
Yes, well, it's a very different type of tile, wasn't it, underfoot? I've not really seen that before.
Well, check out this poster. Adam Willis, 1989, and there is some of that flooring.
Look at that.
Holy moly, that's a brilliant... Oh my goodness. So I was thinking, as we were sat on the floor, what was the picture on the floor? And I couldn't work out the shape of it. Is it still that, the dinosaur?
Yeah, mystery solved. Yeah.
In my head, I was like, that really looks like a dinosaur. But I'm not going to say that out loud, because they're all going to think I'm mad. That is crazy.
I love
Now
I love the fact that we had a very lovely moment of Laura exploding with joy when she saw that poster, which Laura, may or may not make the edit. We don't know. But I love the fact you did it.
Laura,
I love it.
That's the first time I'm ever going to have to use one of the buildings for you.
I love that so much. But the thing is, this is exactly why people pick up on this. The passion that we all have for this crazy railway system is so beautiful, and it bubbles out. And as I say, it doesn't matter if I walk into an area where there's like old tiles from goodness knows when, or Laura sees a beautiful piece of artwork that resonates with her, there is genuine reaction in us. And I love that, really, because so many things in life are broadly miserable or serious, and for this we could just have a bit of a moment, and I love it. But yeah, it was so interesting because I could see your cogs ticking away, and we were looking at those tiles and you were trying to work out what it was. Now you know.
When I was doing the research, the photo research for this, Laura, I was trawling through our information management system, and this was one of the last ones that I came across, and I had a similar moment of, oh, I'm going to be so glad to share this.
Because I was just about to berate you for being really naughty and not putting me out of my misery yesterday, when you could see me looking at the floor tiles and thinking, what is that? First of all, I thought it was like an outline. I'm actually doing it now as if I'm looking at the tiling on the floor. First of all, I thought it was like the outline of a bloom, like a flower of some kind, because it was kind of the way I was looking at it, it looked like the kind of edges of a leaf. And then I was like, it looks a little bit like a manta ray or something. And I was like, maybe it's a bit dinosaur-y. And then I let it go. But I thought if any of you knew, you'd have said.
Well, that's it. I've done all the other research, but that was the one bit that I was taken by surprise, and I'm only glad we found the answer so quickly.
I think it's absolutely glorious that we found that. It's just a perfect storytell of that station, because we had questions at the start. I didn't even know half of it existed, you know, and all these things that we were looking around today are literally, as you could see, were just hanging off the platform. You know, you go through a little gate or a grill, there's weird bookshelf style doors. And all of a sudden, wasn't that cool?
The Indiana Jones moment.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
But then, you know, you'll go through another corridor which was tiled in the 60s and go, oh God, you like the orange. But it's part of the station's fabric and it tells a beautiful story. And then when you go upstairs and there's designs on the platform that you're not quite sure about, you said, this is why we say, stop looking at your phone, look at the tube as you're traveling around, because the things you're missing are worth seeing. And I absolutely love it. So Nixie, thank you for your suggestion, this one.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. It was good to go and share it, and glad you enjoyed it.
Now, we've got some lovely bits for Patreon as well. You know, we've told you about this before. This is the free stuff that we give you. But there's also a service that we offer that helps support the work of the museum. It's on Patreon. Chris, if anyone wants to join up and see the sort of exclusive stuff that we can show them via that, how do they get to Patreon?
Well, right now, just here, there will be a link popping up, which will show you, if you go to the museum's website, ltmuseum.co.uk, navigate your way through Hidden London to membership, and you'll be able to see the different tiers of Patreon and the different benefits at each level. And thank you to all of our Patreons. Or anybody who buys anything from our online shop. It really does all help support the things that we do.
Can I just say... Laura's got a really bad cold, okay, and she gets to the point where she's trying to hold a sneeze in and she can't, and all of a sudden you just get this and all of it, it's all see, and it's like a bomb about to go off. It's like, oh God, duck out of the way. I love it.
I'm so sorry.
There's this little button with mute next to it.
Oh, but I couldn't reach it in time, because I was trying to do, like, some people could do those inward sneezes where they go like that. That is not something I was genetically supposed to be able to do. It's just, it all just loads. And Alex could see that I was going and I wanted to press the mute. I really did. I'm sorry, Chris. I ruined that section. But maybe people will remember it more now. Who knows?
I absolutely adore it. Go find Patreon, because there's all sorts of sneezing going on there. It's brilliant. But I really, really love it. And all I would say is, because Chris has got his thing that pokes down at the side of him, me and Laura would like something as well. So if I just say to Chris, you can put whatever you like just to the side of me, that would be really lovely. Laura, would you like something to the side of you?
Always.
Which way would you like it to pop up?
Tempt me.
We don't know what he's going to put in.
I'm going to go with this side. Hang on, what's going on? This side. This side, because it's a little bit bare there.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much. Right, okay, so there's a picture of a large chicken appearing here at the moment. It's going to be marvellous, maybe.
I want a genie in a lamp here.
No notes, queries and questions today, because frankly, we've had too much fun. What I will say is we are so delighted to hear about the Elizabeth line and the opening. It's 6-day-a-week opening to start with, which is going to be just fabulous. More on that to come on the Hangouts in the coming weeks. Also, find us on Patreon as well. And Siddy, good luck with your series. I hope it's going brilliantly by the time we air this. We know it will be, because you're so full of fabulous stuff. You and Tim are wonderful. Laura Hilton Brown, thank you so much, as always. I know you're a bit under the weather, but you were brilliant. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry if my ramblings didn't make sense. I'm not feeling so good today. But I just think, what a lovely station. You said before that, Alex, that it's the fabric of the station, and you know, it's always very different at the sites we go to. And I always think that there's so much going on. And yesterday we had that lovely, just the genetics of the station for me are the design elements mixed with the engineering. That's the DNA strand that runs through it. And we had it all. And I'm really glad that that's the one the four of us were on.
Yeah, me too. I
Together.
totally agree. And thank you so much for holding my hand effectively as we went down and up those stairs, because I really.
Well, I just hope I didn't give you any germs as we did that, and that you don't get this tomorrow. Sorry.
To be honest, babe, you know, I'm just glad you held my hand, because I don't want to freak out on television. It's not a good look. Chris Nix, thank you so much as always for coming up with the idea, but also then, you know, letting it all happen, because it was brilliant.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to do it. It's nice to be down there. Great to see us all together again. And I just love these really properly old stations that are part of the proper DNA of the underground, because tucked away behind those doors, they've got so much to offer.
Yeah, and as you walk around that station, you see the evolution of design through the decades, you know, the nice chunk of the 60s in there as well with the colour scheme. So it's all there. Brilliant stuff. Thank you so much. If you want to know more about what we're up to, where we're off to, find us on Instagram, Alex Grundon, Chris Nix, City Holloway, Hidden London Law, and at LT Museum. You found us on YouTube. Thank you so much. Like, subscribe, and comment down below with things that you'd like to know more about, places you'd like us to go, and we'll be back somewhere incredible next week. In the meantime, have yourself a great day and stay safe.